Good afternoon. Vitaly Leontiev. The company is going on an IPO. How is the work going? Mr. President, thank you very much. You gave us this job about 8 months ago. She is very important because we are a company that has already passed. She is 28 years old. As you know, we have been developing very actively over the past 5 years, and now the company's assets have increased 5-fold in 5 years. We have now practically become a market company. We are not new to the stock market, and everything that we invest in the industry today, we attract from the market. We now have 6 trillion assets, which have increased 5-fold over the past 5 years, and the company's profit has tripled. Last year we closed at 70 billion, and this year we will be at 90 billion, and next year we will reach the plateau of 100 billion. Of course, Vladimir Vladimirovich, we have been paying dividends for these 5 years. Our ROE has been stable around 20%, and the yield per share is around 10–11%. Therefore, of course, there is a lot of interest in us. Good. Yes, but over the past 18 years, this is the first financial market company after Sberbank to launch an IPO. We are now among the top 10 largest companies. We think, Vladimir Vladimirovich, that we will attract from 15 to 30 billion from the market and bring about 10% of the shares to the market. And where will these surpluses go? We mostly invest. As you know, our entire business is aimed at creating and supporting the housing sector and improving living conditions. Most of this money will be used for project financing. We will finance about 1 million square meters of housing, which means that about 15,000 families will be able to improve their living conditions. We are investing money in the development of infrastructure in the constituent entities of the Russian Federation. This is also about 50 billion. We think we will finance it. And of course, we will continue to develop socially responsible business. We are now in the final stages. We resolved all organizational issues together with the central bank, the Moscow Stock Exchange, and the government, prepared, changed the charter, and registered the share prospectus with the central bank. The goal that you set by 2030 is 66% of the stock market, which we must ensure from the country's GDP. This is a very serious task, and it cannot be solved without the withdrawal of a state-owned company. This imposes an additional responsibility on us. First, we will have to change corporate governance and become more transparent. Reporting, international standards, auditing, independent members of the board of directors, and management commitment are the set of requirements that the market places on us today. We are confident that we can handle this. Of course, Vladimir Vladimirovich, we expect that after the IPO and when we become a public company, we will maintain our main focus, the development of the housing sector, the support of citizens. We retain the functions of the Development Institute. You started this work back in 2024?
Yes, we started in 2024, and we held about 100 meetings with public companies and investment funds. We expect that large investment funds, pension funds, and such institutional investors will also become our shareholders, and we want to attract individuals. The market is opening today, and we expect that with our dividend yield per share of 11–12%, there will be a lot of interest in us, Vladimir Vladimirovich.
I think so. If you pursue a responsible dividend policy, then of course it will be an attractive investment.
Now the new strategy that we have adopted by 2030 is based on the following principles: attracting money from the market, a dividend policy of at least 50%, and doubling of assets. By 2030, we should become a company with 11 trillion assets and double in size. And all these investments will go into the housing sector. We will retain the functions of an agent of the state.
But it's not just housing, it's infrastructure too. Of course, we have about 10 segments, all of which we have developed and grown with the market. Your support for housing construction in the country, urban development in general, and master planning are all things we do. We will continue to be the operator of all mortgage programs. Currently, about 4 million citizens have received mortgage loans, and about 15 million have invested in housing. We were all operators of these programs. Further, we will continue to support mortgages through the securitization of loans. We issued bonds, took the money, and supported the banks. They have freed up capital. Every eighth mortgage is issued using our mechanisms. Farther, we are engaged in technological re-equipment of the industry. These are digital services, an information system, our portals. We are building .HOUSE.RF has now been launched for individual housing construction. From now on, we will continue to be an agent of the state for land involvement. These are inefficient lands. We have put about 35,000 hectares of land into circulation with a graduation rate of about 35 million square meters. But our goal is not just to involve, but to build housing on this land. Vladimir Vladimirovich, we even have examples. Comprehensive territorial development and housing construction are, of course, our area. By 2030, 100 million square meters, 10% of the portfolio, should be built with our mechanisms. Of course, we are developing a rental business. Now we are the largest holders. We have 1 million square meters for citizens and students. We are almost completing your assignment, 10,000 apartments in the Far East. There are good examples out there. This year, we have already occupied 1,500 apartments. We have financed 11,000 apartments. And now in the Far East, the last one in Magadan has been occupied. In general, as a result of this work, we have invested 87 billion. I think the government has reached out to you now. You have given instructions to transfer this case to the Arctic zone. We are ready to finance 400 rental apartments in Murmansk and Arkhangelsk. Putin addressing the presentation. Are you transforming the homeland of Santa Claus? Mutko, you have set a target of 200 master plans for cities. We have been doing this since 2015, and we have developed 60 master plans. Homeland of Santa Claus. Together with colleagues from the Vologda region and Afka Sistema, we started developing this master plan. I remember, Vladimir Vladimirovich, about 5 years ago, they told us to create normal conditions for people to rest, a year-round center. We continue to prepare Architects.Russian Federation, and we will continue to do so. We have launched 2 new programs, Vladimir Vladimirovich. The first program is the leasing of municipal equipment, together with the Ministry of Industry and Trade. You know that our production has become hooked, mainly on agricultural machinery. The Ministry of Industry and Trade has offered us to launch such a program. It will cost 300 billion. We issue bonds to the market, borrow money, and subsidize leasing companies. They order the production of agricultural machinery and communal equipment for municipalities at factories, and then hand them over. We're at 6.5%, they're at 10%. We have 300 billion now, and we have already financed 10 billion. Such a new project has been launched, and I think it can be developed because we see that the market can take 120, 130 billion annually. Putin. Vitaly Leontievich, I also looked at your documents. Do you think that the volume of mortgages will decrease by 20% this year? Mutko. Yes, Putin, but the money will not decrease. How's that? Mr. President, look at the structure of housing acquisition. After all, the main thing for construction is how much money comes to the primary market. If you look at it, for all these years, only mortgage money has been invested in the purchase of housing at about 80–90%. But the structure of housing has changed. Now 65% buy with a mortgage, and in previous years, 35% are already there with their own money. Monetary policy began to soften, and there was some revival even of the mortgage market. In recent months, we have seen that if somewhere 13,000 were issued per month, now there are 23,000 mortgage market loans. The most important factor, I want to thank you again, because I remember that we discussed here, you insisted on transferring the industry to project financing. I believe that this is a basic solution. And for all these difficult years and a half, the construction site has been feeling dynamically. Currently, there are almost 119 million square meters of housing under construction. Project financing has been opened for 21 trillion. 9.7 is in rhythmic financing. This mechanism is very balancing for housing construction. So, of course, I think this is a fundamental reform. That's the right decision. Absolutely. Therefore, Vladimir Vladimirovich, we generally expect that by attracting resources and entering the public market, we will remain focused on the development of the housing sector, support people, preserve all our development institute functions, and simply work more efficiently and responsibly. Because we not only have one shareholder, but there will be many more shareholders to whom we will have to keep an account and be transparent and public. Success! Thank you very much, Vladimir Vladimirovich.